It's Monday morning and we are kicking the week off. So this morning we are conducting some stock or agricultural fencing over at a field, and it's mega local. This is the stuff that I went to go get the materials for in last week's video, and we collected it from Shore Green, so a big shout out to them. I've purchased an adapter for the tractor so we can pull the trailer with that, as it is in the middle of the field, and we've got the Polaris all loaded up with the tools, and we are ready to head over to the job and make a start on around 300 metres of agricultural fencing.
So as mentioned, we're taking the Polaris over to move tools and people about, and that's all loaded up. And I also mentioned we've got this attachment to pull the trailer with the tractor. So hopefully we can start moving the stock about easily around the field.
So we're all loaded up, ready to go. We just got to wait for fleet line markers to arrive, as we've got a paint replenishment being delivered this morning.
So now it's a waiting game for us to head over to the field.
Right, change of plan. Fleet are running behind, which is absolutely fine because we're nice and local today. So we're going to head over to the field and start off with this fencing.
It's not very often that we're only working literally a mile up the road. So we're in convoy to head to the area that we're going to be fencing off for the parish council in order for this to be a future nature park in the village that I actually live in. The land was adopted by the parish council and given to them by some housing developers that are hoping to build housing in part of this field, and the rest of it's going to be owned by the farmer. But anyway, now we're here, we can start looking at the size of the project and such a beautiful area that we're privileged to work in today to install around 300 metres of stock fencing for the future natural park. So now you know what we're doing, let's get on with it.
We're in the field on site. We're just flailing back one of the first pieces where we need to start for the first post. The next thing I'm going to do is we've now got GPS in the Polaris, so I'm just going to plot everything out in the Polaris via GPS so we know the fence is exactly where it needs to be. What a morning, what an absolute morning. So we've just turned up and I've realised I didn't have enough stock fencing. I picked up the wrong length, probably my fault. As you know, we went on Friday to pick it up. So we've got 3 50-metre rolls and we need 3 100-metre rolls. So Will is going to leave in the van now to get them, and we are finally going to get started with this stock fencing. First thing we're going to do is get the first post in and then get all measured out.
So Will's going to save the day and go and replace that mesh wire that needs replacing.
Excited?
Yeah.
Better get a bang in, boy.
So now we officially have the first post in the ground. We're going to use the GPS in the Polaris just to map out where everything needs to go and double measure and triple check everything. That's before we start with the rest of the fence, that is, because, well, that would be awkward, wouldn't it? Anyway, so we start moving around the field, taking all the measurements we need, marking locations and double checking it on the map we've been given.
Nothing ever goes smoothly, and it's lucky that we mapped it out with GPS. We found that the field is actually 30 metres bigger than what's on the plans given to us by the developer. So I'm now having to run and go meet with the parish council and just show them the mapping that we've got, and they need to decide what they're going to do with this fence. But ultimately we're 30 metres short of material unless they give them that land, so let's find out what they decide.
Goodbye.
So we've had the phone call from Fleet, they're at the unit, and Ash is going to go and manhandle that delivery. Turns out we hadn't been given the updated map. That is now sorted, so we can start measuring from the points that we know are correct. We start pulling that string line and start getting some indicators in the ground where we know we need to go to. And this is the end post for that run of fencing, and we're then going to cut across the field in the other direction to close it off. We start getting the posts and the strainers in the ground, and then we can start infilling in between the start and the end post. Now this is all going to be done by hand, and we're doing a great job at double and triple checking all of the post heights and that they're plumb on the way through.
The lads are cracking on really well. We're all smashing it, to be fair. It's one of those days that we didn't actually get into a momentum until about midday. Don't know what the time is now. It's 2:30 and we've rattled them out. Like I'm pretty happy. Let me have a quick count quickly. So we're 20 down and we've got 3 that are prepped, ready to bang in. We've done the strain at the other end. So yeah, it's going well. It's going well. We're not far away. We've probably got another 15 to go on that first run of fencing. Just jumping into Polaris quick because I've got a couple of meetings that I'm going to have to do on my phone. I'm going to get them done because I'm about to be late for them, and then we'll catch up again because I've got an update on the Hustler. So the update with the Hustler, they have reached out, the company in question have reached out, and to be fair, the managers are trying to put it right, which is fantastic news. We've not come up with a resolution yet, but they have reached out and they are trying to sort it, so fair play to them on that front. I don't think they were too happy the fact that we filmed in the yard, but listen, I don't know what I can say. Like, we film the goods and bads, everything around our business. At the end of the day, I was filming to kind of take the evidence. It is one of them, we are allowed to do it. It's a publicly accessible site. We was just filming our mower that we'd picked up, but I have said to them, if they can get it sorted, the last video will be deleted. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we got fencing to crack on with, so that is the update. No real strong update yet, and the Hustler isn't sorted yet, but thank you to everyone that has reached out and given us lots and lots of options. I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you for the help with this one. It's been tough, but yes, we crack on. Let's get on with fencing.
And then our good luck seems to have run out, as you can see here.
Nothing goes smoothly. We've hit complication. As you can see, this is an agricultural field and we keep hitting limestone. We've tried moving the spacings about, we've tried augering down to do test holes and stuff, and there is probably about 10 posts. We want to keep the spacing correct because obviously otherwise it's going to look a mess, so we need to keep the spacings correct, but the field is full of stone. So what are we going to do? I don't know yet. Gonna have a think about it. We all need a fresh set of arms, I think. All of us are absolutely knackered. We've done a good amount of posts. We're well over the 100 and it's getting dark, so we're going to call it a day for today. I think what we may do is try and have to borrow a favour and get a post knocker, or auger out a little bit, and maybe the ones that we're mega struggling with, we'll have to figure out a solution, whether that's concrete, I don't know. I don't want to do that because that's not correct, but yeah, we need to figure something out. Anyway, we've made good progress. We are at the end of that run, bar 4 or 5 posts. We need to get packed up and head home, but again, we shall see you tomorrow. It's day 2 and we are back on the fencing, and we went through the wars a little bit yesterday when we stopped filming. I managed to smash my knee up and I've spent all night in A&E. I've now got a torn metatarsal, which is not ideal at all. Yesterday we left here letting you know that we kept hitting rock and stone, so we are trying to source a post driver desperately, especially with the fact that I am now 50% efficient with my leg. So yeah, we're gonna have to see what the day brings, come up with a bit of plan, get cracking with it, and of course we'll let you know. Now, we've not made much progress today, have we? It's about 1 o'clock.
Yep.
How would you describe the day in one word?
Death.
See if this barn find works.
So we've managed to get our hands on the post knocker, and this is the stony part, and it is making a lot more progress than we had ever managed by hand. So fingers crossed it goes smoothly.
So I'll tell you the story. We were struggling like hell, as you know. I put a group out on the local Facebook pages, and there's a farmer that had a post knocker. Don't get me wrong, it's been dragged out of the barn. It is not pretty. We've had to run and fit a hydraulic hose to it. We didn't know if it was going to work, but he said it's yours to use it if it works. So we've given it a go. And I tell you, we have done probably exactly what we did yesterday by hand already in the space of about half an hour, 40 minutes. So we are rattling it out. We're definitely going to finish the posts today. Got GPS on the tractor, banging them in lovely, happy days. And also it means that my knee is getting a bit of a rest. So yeah, happy days. Anyway, let's crack on with it.
And they're absolutely flying in now. Not a rock to be seen in sight under the ground. As we're working along, we're just working to make sure that they're all plumb and level and to the correct height. There are a few that we are going to have to adjust later on, but we'll probably do that in the morning. And as you can tell, this thing's probably not the most accurate, and you can't guess exactly where they're going to land. But anyway, it's less backbreaking, and we're rattling through the posts, doing really, really well. It's now the next morning, and I'm on my way to take the fast track to be repaired/serviced. I've got Will following me in order to pick me up from Can Do Services in Milton Keynes, and they're going to be servicing and chasing some faults on the fast track.
And we are on site at the fence. We've just got a couple of posts to adjust and sort out, and then we can run on with our strainer wire. Technically, we've only been working on this for a day because the first day we had complications with the map, which meant we couldn't start till midday, and yesterday we had complications, meaning we couldn't start till midday again, and that was due to us not having a post knocker, and the ground was just so hard. So I am happy, over the moon with the progress we have made. It has been a slow week in terms of progress, but that's what happens, isn't it, when you start projects like this and things crop up. The plan of action today, just got a couple more posts just to sort out, level off, make sure that they're correct height. Then we're going to get the strainer wires installed and the mesh installed. This morning, Ash and Jack ran over to a school to get the line marking done, so we haven't got to worry about that. And I had to drop the fast track off in Milton Keynes. I've dropped it to a place called Can Do. Seem like a lovely bunch and a lovely company to deal with so far. And they're just looking over a rear hitch calibration on the fast track, and also a fault that keeps cropping up that we believe is to do with a map sensor or something. So they've got that for a couple of days to sort that out. We've also booked it in for a service with them, but that won't be on till later on in the month. But anyway, we're going to get these posts sorted out, and then we can crack on with the rest of the project.
So we can now start installing the first strainer wire, and we've got that locked on at the bottom, and we now need to go to the other end in order to ratchet it up and get that nice and tight. As we're working down towards the bottom, we're just going to put some staples. We're putting 4 of these down the run just to keep it at the correct height. Those staples are in nice and loose. We can then start ratcheting it with these ratchet tensioners at the other end to the desired tension. And once that's done, on the way back up, we're just going to staple them into place on every single post. And we then got to do that 3 more times on all of the other areas we need strainer wire.
Progress is happening. We're doing really well. We're just on the last wire on this side. We've done both the strainer wires there. We've done the bottom one on that one. It's just the top to go. Once we've done that, we can roll our mesh out, get our mesh installed, and that is job done. Get some photos to send to the client, and then we need to get back and clean all the kit and tidy that off. Bar the problems that we had at the beginning and the setbacks, I've really enjoyed this project. We've not done a lot of stock fencing before, especially in open places. Most of the time we've had to do it, it's all been by hand and in a tight corner in the middle of a golf course or a field that we can't get a tractor to. So yeah, it's been good, a lot easier with a tractor, GPS and the post knocker. I don't think I mentioned that the other day, but set an AB line with a tractor using the CHC nav, which we've now updated to the 5.0 software, and it is sensational. It's good to see that they're constantly progressing the software. I have been grumpy in the past when it glitches and stuff like that, but everything's always progressing and getting updated. I need to remember that when I'm tired and cold in the middle of a field. But anyway, I'm really tired. I've had about 3 hours sleep this week, and I'm just mumbling along. But anyway, the point is, CHC nav was fantastic. The 5.0 software for it is sensational compared to what it used to be, and it was already good. I'm gonna shut up now and we're gonna get some wire installed. What a mistake to make! Can we get it? What?
So probably the most fiddly part of this project is getting this wire up. We need to pull it all out and get it all the way around the corner and check the lengths. We're then going to stand it up against the fence before we attempt to get that nice and tight. We're going to strain it like we did with the wire and then get that fixed. And the boys are working late to the sunset in order to try and get this completed today. It's now Thursday, and where has the week gone? And we're starting the day with a beautiful sunrise. And we're down at one of the sites and we need to get all of the synthetic brushing done today, and we've also got some pitch maintenance, so we've got Fine and Voltage tractor again with us. So the boys make a start with brushing all of the synthetic pitches. We need to knock the frost off of these so the academies can train on them. Once they've done that site, they head over to the next one and get this dome completed. Now this dome's a very large 7v7 or a very small 9v9, so it doesn't take us that long at all to get that sorted. And whilst the boys continue brushing that, Ash goes for a walk round the site to check the site tidiness and all of the line markings, ready for a weekend full of football, hopefully. And after that, they move on to the next site. They get that one brushed and get that one sorted, and they can then move over to the pitch maintenance where Ash is going to run the quadruplay over, try and get that slitted and groomed, ready for a weekend full of games. And once Ash has done that fantastic work, we then need to get it line marked, and we can then think about heading back to the unit in order to finish little bits on that fence.
Some good work has happened today, and we're now back at the fence just tidying up a few things and getting some drone images to send to the client. It's got a few clips to tidy up, a few bits and bobs to make sure everything's neat and tidy, and that's this project complete. So let's take a look at it.
So we started with what was an empty agricultural field, and we've now divided the section that is going to be the parish council's land. In the future, this is going to be a nature park, as I've already mentioned, and hopefully we are invited to do that work. There'll be hedgerows going in, the soil will then be prepared for amenity grass and wildflowers, and potentially some sud systems, but only the future will tell.
Right, we are all sorted. That is another project signed off. Happy days. Photos for the client with the drone, and we can move on. Tomorrow we are out verti-draining, so we're going to be going down to George Brown's hire centre early in the morning. Normally we'd be using the fast track, but Richard from Can Do has found loads of wiring gremlins with the fast track, so he has still got hold of that, and we're going to be dropping the filters for him to service it at the same time in the morning. George Brown's have stepped in and we're hiring one of their Kubotas to get the job done. But anyway, it's nice to see a project that we had planned for a week all finished, and we're done for another day so we can get moving.
It's Friday and we've picked up our hire machine and verti-drain from George Brown Centre, and I've now got the absolute pleasure of driving this Kubota M4 on the ground. It's a bit of a culture shock, I'm not going to lie to you. And the only issue that I have got is...
So the Kubota M4 is definitely a lot slower and a lot more bouncy than the fast track. And one of the main problems I've got this morning is there's a big hill coming up. I'm not sure if it will handle it. So after a very bumpy drive, I'm all set up, the verti-drain's going in absolutely lovely, and we are now sat at 1 kilometre all day pretty much. Now the reason we've not got the fast track is one, I didn't want to damage the ground, and two, it's in for repair with Richard at Can Do. We've opened up a can of worms. He's found quite a few electrical bits and bobs wrong with it, and it's getting a full service. And rather than rushing him, I want it, you know, spot on, and he is the man for the job, let me tell you. So if you are local to Milton Keynes, Bedfordshire, Northamptonshire, or you're willing to travel, and you are looking for someone that is going to look after your machine as if it was their own, and that is extremely experienced at what they do, make sure you give Richard from Can Do a call. His link will be in the description and the first post of the comments. Now the original plan was to use our flatbed trailer on the back of the fast track in order to move this tractor about. However, next week and the weekend when I'm going out verti draining is now just going to incur a lot of driving, but it is what it is, and I'm very thankful to Dan from George Brown's Hire who's managed to sort the tractor out, and we can still continue with the work. So what's deemed a negative is actually a positive. The tractor's getting sorted out once and for all, and we're still able to conduct our verti draining. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to film much today because I'll probably just be trying to keep sane, and also there's not a lot for you to look at when I'm doing 1 kilometre an hour. There is news on the Hustler. You might have noticed I took last week's video down. The way I worded a few things did upset a few people, and I'm not here to upset anyone. It is just business, and hopefully resolutions can be found. It sounds like they have got a bit of a plan together, and I should give them the opportunity in order to sort it. It's been a rough week personally. I've had a lot going on. However, I'm sure it'll be sorted in no time. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I do really want to push the subscriber count up to 10,000 just to say that we've hit the milestone. So if there is anyone that you think that might enjoy this video, I would very much appreciate if you could share it to them. Ping us a screenshot on Instagram or comment to say that you shared it, and there might be something coming up for you. Have a good one, and we'll see you next week.